All right, I've only got a couple of minutes here before I've got to go to my next meeting, but I wanted to show you a really cool thing that you can do for your e-commerce store. It's the most powerful thing to boost the revenue that you're generating from your store. And it's also one of the easiest things that you can do. And I'm going to show you how to set it all up through e-commerce, through Cart66, which is our e-commerce platform. So, and it's basically following up with your customers by way of email, either after they sign up for your newsletter, after they become a client, even if they're still a lead, whatever, just following up with people based on what you know they're already interested in. So it's not just blammoing out information to everybody all at once and just kind of hoping for the best. This is targeted email marketing based on behavior within your store. And that's what I want to show you how to set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you, and then we're going to take just a quick look at how all this works. And I think you'll find that it's really, really slick, and you can set it all up in just a couple minutes. So I'm going to share my screen. So give me just a second here to pull that off. All right, so what we're doing right now is we're looking at a store that I set up. It just is a demo store. It's not a real store or anything. And it's I'm using the Make theme again. This is one of the themes that I tend to use a lot. And I've set up a really cool store selling watches, and everything is just powered. The only things that I have installed right now are the Make theme and Cart66. And you can just see it's a pretty cool looking site, really clean. And this is an example of what the Cart66 product catalog looks like, where you can just easily embed your products wherever you want. And here's a couple of products and the different pages and stuff that you can kind of go through. You can also sort your products by the women's collection of watches or the men's collection. So like if you jump into the women's collection, then here you are kind of looking at, the women's watches. And here's the Beverly watch, which tends to be one of the watches we use in our examples a lot. You can kind of click through and take a look at the watch. I don't have the actual product order form set up, but the actual price and everything would all show up here if I've had that hooked up. And you would be able to kind of toggle around and look at different layouts of what the watch looks like and all that cool stuff. And then there's also the ability to collect customer reviews, also built into Cart66 as well. And we can talk about that later. The form looks like this, and you can collect the review and then either post it immediately, or you can kind of have it queued up for approval, just to make sure people aren't spamming your site and stuff. Another really cool thing, which we'll get into later, is you can actually take these reviews and by way of a short code, you can embed them into a blog post or on your homepage or anywhere you want. The reviews are not tied to this particular page, but but what I wanted to show you was not so much how to actually buy this product, but what you can do if someone does buy the product. So a couple of things to note before we jump into all of this is, first of all, you can actually buy the product if you want to. We also have this form here set up so that you can get people to kind of sign up to your newsletter or to your email list, even if they don't buy a product. And then maybe you offer a 10% discount on their first order or something like that. And so people just type in their email address, hit get discount, and now they're in the list. And all that's all hooked up together. We've also got the cart display, like how many items are in the cart and stuff. It's kind of up at the top right. So that's the layout that we're working with. Let me show you what it looks like in Cart66. So you jump into Cart66. I'm looking at the products tab, and let me just kind of take you from the top down. So here we are at the products tab. Click on the Beverly watch, and let's close that there. And then if you go over to this Mad Mimi tab, so I've already got this kind of configured so that Mad Mimi is kind of in the mix. But if you didn't have that configured, you would go over here and click on that little button there, type in your email address and API key and all that stuff, and you'd see the different lists that you have set up. And so I'm going to also show you my demo Mad Mimi account, which is right here. If you look at these lists, then you can just easily add as many as you want. So this is Mad Mimi, and if you click on this little plus button, you can create as many lists as you want, and then use them for what I'm about to show you here. And so, for example, you can have a list for your newsletter, which would be like people that are signed up and they may or may not be a customer. Then you can have another list just for customers. So people that that actually bought something, they are actually customers. Then you can have like a list like Beverly, like for the Beverly watch that we're selling. However many products you have, you could have a list for each product. So you're beginning to grow a list of the people that bought certain things. And then you could also do it more generically. Like if they buy the Beverly watch, also add them to like the women's watch list as opposed to the men's watch, because there's women's and men's watches. So next time you have like, say somebody buys the Beverly watch, then hey, okay, this person is a customer, they have a watch, they're interested in perhaps women's watches as opposed to men's. So the next time you have a product offering of some sort, say for example, sunglasses or a necklace or, a different watch band color that people could buy or whatever that pertains to like women's jewelry that you might be selling, then you can just email all the people in the women's list, because they're going to be much more likely to buy a women's watch than a man would who bought a men's watch. So that's the point being, you can really target things very effectively by setting up these lists. And it's super simple. You literally just click this little plus button, type in whatever you want to call the list, and you've got another list. And then you can do a ton of really cool stuff we can talk about later with regard to like drip campaigns and stuff. And the reason that I'm focusing on Mad Mimi here instead of MailChimp or something like that is because this is so simple to use. It's like insanely simple. It's like, it's really, really stripped down. And you don't need all of the functionality and everything that comes with MailChimp and all the CRM and all that stuff to do what we're talking about here, because Cart66 brings a lot of that to the table, and you don't have to like, duplicate all that stuff. So if you go over here to products and Beverly, and then you click over here on the Mad Mimi tab, what you can do is you can edit the list here. So if you clicked edit, now it's loading up the list that we saw from Mad Mimi. And so you'll recognize all these different lists here. And what you can do is when somebody buys the Beverly watch, then you can either add a customer to a certain number of lists or remove a customer from a list. So for example, when somebody buys a watch, so they're buying something, so we're going to remove them from the leads list, because that would be like a list of people who've never bought anything before, and add them to the customer list. We'll also add them to the Beverly list because they bought the Beverly watch, and the Beverly watch is a women's watch, so we'll add them to the women's list as well. So then you just click save, and now you've got this system set up where somebody buys the Beverly watch, you remove them from the leads list because they're now a customer, you've added them to the customers list, you know exactly which watch they bought, and you know kind of what category of products they're interested in your store. So that's really slick right off the bat. Then you can go into Mad Mimi, and what you can do is they have this feature called link to list, which is incredibly cool. It's so simple, and the idea is that when somebody clicks a link, they get added to a list, or as soon as somebody is added to a list in general, you can set up these drip campaigns. And I don't have any drip campaigns set up, but if I were to set up a drip campaign, it would be a sequence of emails that go out starting when they get added to a particular list. And you can, of course, delay, like you can add someone to a list and then delay the initial email to go out later. So for example, you add somebody to the Beverly list and you don't want to send them another email for a week or whatever, which would be like a follow-up to say, hey, do you like it? Do you have any questions? Do you need any help? Whatever. You could do that. But the idea is the drip campaigns are tied to the list. So when somebody gets added to the list, that kind of triggers the sequence of emails that you have going out. So now you can see exactly how powerful this is, because, you can send any number of really cool email sequences, like, follow up about the product that they bought. Do they need any help? If it's the kind of product that maybe you got to replace the battery every year or something, like send an email, say, hey, do you need a fresh battery? Here's a link to, go back to the store and buy one. Or, we've got a new product that is kind of like the one that you just bought. Do you want to check that out? Or, we've noticed you haven't been shopping in a while. Can you come back and, here's a coupon for your next purchase. Or, all of that cool stuff is baked in, and it's so, we've already done it. All you have to do now is write the emails. So let me show you one other thing that you can do with email marketing, even if you don't want to use Mad Mimi. And that's our notification system. So there's tons of features and everything going on here. But if you go down and take a look at the customer notifications, which is this section right here, then what I really want to focus on is the customer notifications rather than the order notifications. Order notifications is like anytime anybody places an order, let people know about it, right? So like if you're working drop shipping or whatever, it could be the fulfillment center. If it's, like if somebody replies to the emails, where's it go? But here's what I want to show you, customer notifications. So we talked a little bit about this before. Gimlet's another one of those watches, but you can send out emails. So of course, when somebody places an order, they immediately get an email receipt, and you can customize the text of the receipt, and you can even include files. Like there's this files section in the admin here, right here, where you can upload like a manual for the watch and things like that, and have, even though they're not buying a digital product, you can include a digital file in the receipt. Like it's the user manual for the watch would be a really good example for that. So the watch, it's not a digital product, it's an actual watch that you're going to ship, but because you've attached the file to the product, when somebody buys it, they also have a digital copy of the manual. So that's pretty cool. But what you can also then do is you can click this add a notification and send a separate email because they bought like a particular watch. So on purchase would be another email that you send as soon as somebody makes the purchase, but it's not the email receipt. So it could be a welcome message, it could be a tutorial, it could be, depending on what somebody's bought, it could be information about how to get started or whatever. You can do that. You can do after purchase, and after purchase is where it begins to get really exciting. So say, for example, we want to set up an after purchase email sequence. And this is totally apart from MadMimi. This is all built straight into Cart66. So like, even if you don't want to use all that fancy stuff about adding people to various types of lists, there's a really cool notification system built right in here so that you can then follow up with people. And so what you do is you then select what products, do you want to have in the mix? Like here, we're working with the Beverly product. So somebody buys that, and then type the subject in the message, and then how far after the purchase do you want to wait? Like how long after the purchase do you want to wait before you send the email to the person who made the purchase? And you can add as many intervals as you want, right? So you can send one like the very next day, then wait a week and send another, and then on and on and on, and keep adding as many different emails as you want in the sequence. And this is all built straight into Cart66. So, and then you can customize the email with all these tokens, so like how much they spent, when they bought it, what their name is, what their address is, all of this, and all the tons and tons of different tags that you can use to customize the email address, the email that you send in these notifications. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel this and show you a couple other notifications you can send. The before and on and after expiration. So this is if you're selling some kind of a membership product, like you buy a plugin and you get updates for a year, that kind of a thing. Well, before that year, comes to fruition, like before that you hit that annual anniversary, you can say, hey, before the expiration, let's, for whatever product, whatever, send out this message and have it be, 21 days or whatever, 3 weeks. You could do weeks, months, or days before the expiration, and then and say, hey, your license is about to expire, or your membership is about to expire. Do you want to renew? Here's a link to do that. On and on and on until they actually do renew. And of course, if they do renew, then that changes the end date of their membership with you, and so it kind of automatically short circuits the sequence. So like if you have a sequence of 3 emails going out and somebody immediately responds to the first one and renews, that bumps their expiration date out further and they don't get the other 2. So like if you had 3 emails going out here. So just by the fact that they renew, it short circuits the chain, and so you're not sending emails to people that have already renewed. So that's really cool. A couple of other notifications that you can send are like before the next payment. So like if it's a subscription where you're automatically billing people month after month, or year after year, or whatever the time period is, you can say, well, before the next payment, let's go ahead and, send out a message that's going to say, hey, 14 days before the next payment, you could say, we're going to charge your card in 2 weeks or something like that. Make sure you're ready for it, or something, whatever you want to say. And so you've got all of these different triggers built right into the system. So on purchase would be like kind of in tandem with the receipt. You want to send a message right away, but you don't want it to be part of the actual receipt. After purchase, you can set up a sequence of emails that go out after someone makes a purchase, and then delaying a certain amount of time between each email. Before expiration, or on expiration, and after expiration tend to be with like membership products, where you're either providing support or access to content on your site, or updates to software, whatever it might be, because they've paid for like a membership with you. You can then send triggers for that. And then, of course, if it's a subscription where you're automatically billing the customer again month after month, you can send triggers for that. So, and this is all built right. You don't have to have MadMimi. You don't have to have anything else. It's all baked right into Cart66. The emails all get sent out through SendGrid. So it's like an official, actual SMTP service, so that you don't have to worry about trying to like somehow set up an SMTP server for your site, which is another thing that's kind of a hassle sometimes when you're trying to like integrate WordPress sites with with email stuff. If you're not using an actual email marketing platform, then you got to figure out, well, how do I send the messages? And sometimes that can be a headache. Well, to avoid that, that's another one of these secure connected services that we just kind of provide kind of right out of the box. It's everything, every email that gets sent out that has anything to do with your store, like email receipts, all of these notifications, that kind of stuff, that just goes through SendGrid. So you don't have to fiddle with any of those settings. And that's how all that works. So whether you wanted to just kind of wrap things up, whether you wanted to send out notifications based on, just using Cart66, like before, after purchase, that kind of stuff, or you wanted to really dive into something a little bit more advanced while still being super simple, by like going into the Beverly product, heading over to this Mad Mimi tab, and then adding and removing people to and from lists based on their purchase activity, then here it is. And we literally just set it all up in like a couple of seconds. And if I hadn't been explaining the whole thing, you could have been done with the whole process in I don't know, 60 seconds, like 1 minute. So it's really, really quick, fast, and easy to do all of that stuff. So anyway, so I just wanted to show you guys all that stuff and just kind of shed some light on the fact that if you're running a store, or if you're about to run a store, and you really want to make sure that you're really serving your customers at the deepest level possible, staying in touch with people, letting them know what you can do, just kind of making sure everything's okay, all that kind of stuff. It's really, really, I just showed you how to do it. It's really simple to set up. You don't have to do anything really other than just pretty much write the emails. And that's a dramatically different experience compared to trying to, mash up a bunch of plugins and try to make all that kind of happen on your own. And again, of course, if you want to mash up plugins and you have another platform, you can still implement these same concepts in WooCommerce or anything else, Shopify, whatever. But I wanted to get on here right now. I got to go here in just a second. But basically right now I got to head out. But I just wanted to show you that how easy it is to kind of get this going without having to add any more plugins. And it's baked right into your Cart66 product. It's like you don't have to buy anything else. There's no extra plugins. There's no extra services. There's no extra anything. Unless you, of course, wanted to add Mad Mimi into the mix, and you can sign up for them. But that's great, too, because it's way less expensive than MailChimp or Entreport or any of these other platforms that have very similar functionality. And you're not duplicating a lot of features either, because Mad Mimi is so streamlined, and it's just the workflow is so fast and easy. You're going to save yourself both time and money by just using a tool that has the features you want without having to claw your way through a bunch of stuff that you're never really going to use, and that just kind of gets in the way. So there we go. Got that for you today. And I thought it was really cool. And since we've kind of gotten into the pattern of having these 2:00 e-commerce Thursdays, then I just wanted to jump in to show you guys all of that cool stuff. We'll do something again next week as well. I got so many ideas I want to share with you guys. But if you want to try Cart66, head over to cart66.com and just sign up for free. You get a free 14-day free trial, and just try some of this stuff out and see what you think about it. Because I think that, last week when we talked about all this stuff, we were talking about how you can make money for yourself by invoice payments, recurring payments for your hosting and your marketing packages and, maintenance stuff, so that you don't have to send invoices all the time. It's just automatically billed over and over on your client's credit card without having to worry about, sending invoices all the time or, whatever. Plus you get that secure customer portal, meaning that your clients can keep their accounts up to date on their own without having to worry about, who's going to store all the card stuff and all that stuff. So then today I wanted to show you, hey, if you're actually running a store and you're selling stuff, then, how can you kind of get things rolling? And again, Cart66 is ideal for story-based stores. And what I mean by story-based, meaning that you have a handful of products, maybe even one product, maybe just one, but you have a great story that goes behind it. You want to talk about when I was selling these noise reduction headphones that my friend John in Missouri had invented. There was a great story about why did he invent the headphones, and he was a drummer, and how can you listen to the music from your band without cranking the headphones up so loud you bust your hearing, and what is a decibel anyway? What his headphones reduce noise by 29 decibels. So I wanted to describe what that was like in an office setting, in a home setting when people are kind of noisy, or and then outside, what if you want to listen to music while you're cutting the grass, that kind of stuff. And so there's this really great story behind the product, and I wanted to be able to sell the headphones on the blog posts explaining all those details, and on the homepage, and on the product page, and in my newsletter, and on social media, have a little buy now link. We'll talk about that later too. And that's really where Cart66 shines. So anyway, head over to cart66.com and set yourself up with a free trial. And if you need any help with anything, just submit a quick support ticket, and maybe I'll even get it myself, and I'll be able to help you out with it. If not me, somebody else on our support team can definitely help you get everything all dialed in. And because it's a little bit different, it's a different environment because you've got these secure connected services, and so it's not instantly intuitive if you've never used it before, because it's different from a plugin only solution. So if you have any questions, ask me. There's a ton of documentation on the Cart66 site too, so that's a great place to start. Tons of videos and all that kind of stuff as well. So check it out, see what you think, and if there's anything that I can do to help, just let me know, and we'll start cranking up your e-commerce store together. It'd be awesome. So high five for you, boop, and see you on Tuesday when we talk more about business development and so forth. All right, guys, take care.